Image prompt. I died, choking on my own blood. The taste of copper and betrayal thick in my throat, as the elevator plummeted 40 stories from the penthouse of Blackwood Tower. The last thing I saw was Marcus's face, twisted in that fake-ass sympathy grin.
Malden, I'm sorry.
Eaten like he gave a damn. While his hands, those same hands that had gripped mine in promises of partnership, shoved me backward into the void.
But death.
It wasn't the end. It was a goddamn reset button, slamming me back into my body 3 months earlier. Heart pounding in that same boardroom where it all began. The air still humming with the lie that would unravel everything. I blinked hard, my manicured nails digging into the leather armrest of my chair. The scent of overbrewed coffee and stale ambition hitting me like a freight train. It was the quarterly strategy meeting at Apex Ventures, the cutthroat VC firm I'd clawed my way into after years of bootstrapping startups in Silicon Valley garages. I was Eden Harlow, 34, the rising star with the killer app, ConnectSphere, a social network that promised to bridge the unbridgeable gaps in corporate loyalty, turning backstabbing execs into team players through AI-driven trust metrics. Or so I'd pitched it. In my first life, that pitch had been my golden ticket. In this one, it was the noose Marcus Hale would tighten around my neck. The room hadn't changed, fluorescent hum from the overhead lights, the massive glass walls overlooking the foggy sprawl of San Francisco, and the circle of vultures in tailored suits pretending to care about innovation while plotting their next merger. Marcus sat across from me, all chiseled jaw and predatory blue eyes. The firm's golden boy who'd mentored me since I joined 6 months ago. His arm was slung casually over the back of his chair, that Rolex glinting like a warning. Next to him, Lila Voss, the icy blonde COO who'd clawed her way up by sleeping with the right board members, or so the whispers went, tapped her Montblanc pen against her iPad. Her lips curled in that perpetual half-smirk.
Eden.
Your turn, said Harlan Blackwood, the founder, a grizzled 70-something with a voice like gravel and a fortune built on gutting startups for parts. His eyes, sharp behind wire rims, fixed on me expectantly. In my old timeline, I'd nailed this presentation, landing the green light for ConnectSphere's seed round. Marcus had clapped me on the back afterward, whispering about going all in together.
Lies.
All of it. He'd stolen the code, the patents, the vision, framed me for embezzlement using doctored ledgers I'd never touched. And when I confronted him in that penthouse, he'd chosen the expressway down.
Now.
Sweat prickled my temples, but not from nerves. From the fury boiling in my veins, hot and unyielding. I could still feel the wind rushing up as I fell, the city lights blurring into streaks of regret. No more. This time, I'd bury him before he buried me. Thanks, Harlan, I said, my voice steady as I stood, smoothing my pencil skirt, the same one I'd worn that day, red as fresh warning signs. I clicked open my laptop, the deck loading with slides I'd spent nights perfecting. But I paused, letting the silence stretch just a beat too long. Eyes flicked up. Harlan's curious. Lila's bored. Marcus's hungry. He thought he had me pegged as the eager protege, ripe for plucking. Before we dive in, there's something we need to address. Transparency isn't just a buzzword in my pitch, it's the foundation. And right now, Apex has a leak. Murmurs rippled through the room. Harlan leaned forward, elbows on the table. A leak? What the hell are you talking about? Harlow. I met Marcus's gaze head-on, watching his smirk falter for a split second. Gotcha. Someone's been shopping my IP to competitors. Whispers from the Valley Grapevine, Vanguard sniffing around ConnectSphere's backend algorithms. Sound familiar? I let the accusation hang, casual as a coffee break, but laced with venom only he could taste. Lila snorted, crossing her arms. Paranoia doesn't fund deals.
Eden.
Stick to the slides. But Harlan wasn't laughing. Names. Harlow. If you've got him. I smiled, thin and sharp. Not yet. But I'm close. And when I find out, I trailed off, clicking to the first slide. The hook was set, now to reel him in slow. The meeting dragged on, my pitch landing like a velvet hammer, data points on user retention, projections hitting 9 figures by year 3. Nods all around, even from Lila, who hated anything that smelled like disruptive female energy. Harlan wrapped it with a gruff, solid work. We'll vote next week. As chairs scraped back, Marcus sidled up, clapping my shoulder like old times. Killer stuff.
Edie.
Drinks later? Celebrate. The nickname graded. A faux intimacy that had once made me feel seen. Now it was nails on chalkboard. Sure, I said, forcing a grin. The usual spot. 8 sharp. He sauntered out, oblivious, phone already glued to his ear. I lingered, heart thundering. This was it, the fork in the road. In the old life, those drinks had been the beginning of the end, honeyed words about equity shares. Late nights brainstorming that bled into blurred lines, his hand on my knee under the bar table. I'd trusted him, poured my soul into Apex because he made it feel like family. Until the boardroom betrayal, when he presented my stolen pitch as his own. And I was the one escorted out in handcuffs for fraudulent accounting. The feds had bought it hook, line, and sinker until the fall from the tower ruled a suicide to cover his ass. But I knew the secret he'd buried deeper than bodies. The embezzlement wasn't mine. It was his side hustle, siphoning funds to a shell company tied to his ex-wife's gambling debts. I'd discovered the discrepancies weeks before the pitch, confronted him privately, and he'd spun it back on me, doctored emails making it look like I'd greenlit the transfers. The twist? Lila knew. She'd been in on it. Her mentorship sessions with junior analysts up front for laundering the cash. Together, they'd pinned it on the new girl, the ambitious outsider with no allies. Revenge wasn't a plan, it was oxygen.
And tonight.
Over whiskey sours. I'd start pouring the poison. The bar was a dimly lit speakeasy knockoff in the Mission District. All exposed brick and craft cocktails that cost more than my first car payment. Marcus was already there, nursing a neat scotch. Tie loosened like he owned the night.
Edie.
Over here. He waved me to the stool beside him. That boyish charm dialed to 11. Up close. He smelled like success and sin, Creed cologne, and quiet desperation. I slid onto the leather, ordering a gin and tonic. Extra lime. To killing it, I toasted, clinking glasses. Our eyes met over the rims. And for a heartbeat, I almost slipped, saw the man who'd bought me coffee during all-nighters. Laughed at my dumb jokes about coding bugs being like bad exes. But then the memory crashed in, his foot on my chest as I dangled from the ledge, whispering, "You should have stayed in your lane." So he leaned in, voice dropping conspiratorially. That leak comment? Bold move. Harlan ate it up. I sipped, letting the gin burn sweet. Truth hurts, right? Can't build empires on sand.
Pause. Probe.
Speaking of, How's that Vanguard hookup treating you? Heard they're hungry for social tech. His laugh was a bark. Too loud. Rumors fly fast.
Nah.
I'm all Apex, baby. Loyal to the bone. But his eyes darted. Tell me you see it too. We danced the small talk tango. Market trends. Harlan's latest divorce drama. Lila's rumored affair with the head of HR. I laughed in all the right places. Touched his arm once. Twice. Feeling him lean into it like a moth to flame. By the second round, he was spilling vague gripes about pressure from above, how Apex's margins were tighter than a nun's habit, thanks to some bad investments. I nodded, sympathetic, filing every word. The hook was sinking deeper. Then, casual as confetti, I dropped the bomb. You know, I found something weird in the ledgers today. Transfers to an offshore account, Elysium Holdings? Ring any bells? He froze, glass halfway to his lips. Elysium? Must be a vendor glitch. Why? I shrugged, playing dumb. Just curious. Amounts match some discrepancies I've been chasing for the leak. Thought you, as my mentor, might know. The mask slipped, just a flicker. But there, panic. Raw and real. Look,
Edie.
things get messy in this game. Sometimes you gotta bend rules to keep the lights on. He reached for my hand, thumb stroking my knuckles. But we're in it together.
Yeah?
Trust me.
Trust.
The word tasted like ash. I pulled back gently, smiling through the bile. Always, Marcus. To trust. Another clink, and I watched him swallow it down. Unaware, he just confessed on tape, my phone. Discreetly recording in my purse. App primed for voice ID. By midnight, he was buzzed. Arm around my waist as we stumbled into the lift. Your place or mine, he murmured, lips brushing my ear. Mine, I said, directing the driver to my cramped loft in Hayes Valley. Not for romance, for evidence. In the old life, this night had ended with tangled sheets and whispered vulnerabilities that he'd weaponize later. This time, I'd make sure the only thing tangled was his lies. The door clicked shut behind us, the city's hum fading to a distant roar. He was on me fast, hands greedy, mouth tasting of scotch and false promises. I played along. Just enough, kisses that led to the couch. His shirt half unbuttoned, my fingers tracing the tattoo on his chest, a serpent coiled around a $sign. Fitting. But as he fumbled with my blouse, I whispered, "Tell me about Elysium, Marcus." For real this time. He paused, breath hot against my neck.
Edie.
Not now. I pushed him back. Sitting up, eyes locked.
Now.
Or I walk. And Harlan hears about the glitch tomorrow. The air thickened, tension coiling like that snake on his skin. He sat up too, running a hand through his hair. Defeated.
Fine. It's
A buffer. Lila's idea. Client funds got redirected to cover shortfalls. But it's clean offshore. Untraceable. We were going to pay it back after the next round.
we.
There it was, the betrayal laid bare.
And me?
I'm the fall guy if it blows up. His eyes softened. Manipulative as ever.
No, babe.
You're the future. This is protecting us, all of us.
Lies.
But I let him pull me close again. Recorder whirring silently. He spilled more. Dates. Amounts. Lila's cut for facilitating. By dawn. As he snored on my couch, I slipped away to my desk, emailing the audio to my personal server, encrypted, backed up, bulletproof. Day 2 of my second chance dawned gray and relentless. Rain sluicing down the windows like tears I refused to shed. Apex's offices buzzed with the usual chaos, interns fetching lattes, analysts glued to Bloomberg terminals. The faint whiff of desperation from underfunded dreams. I arrived early, laptop humming with more than just code, screenshots of those ledgers, cross-referenced with public records on Elysium. It traced back to Marcus's ex, a Vegas showgirl turned high roller who'd cleaned him out in the divorce. The secret wasn't just theft, it was desperation. A man who'd sell his soul, and mine, to keep up appearances. Lila cornered me in the break room by noon, her Louboutins clicking like Judgment Day. Heard you and Marcus got cozy last night. Careful. Sweetheart, he's got a type. And it's not ambitious. The dig landed, laced with her own insecurities. In the old timeline, I'd brushed it off, chalking it to catty rivalry.
Now?
I saw the fear in her eyes, the knowledge that I was closing in. Jealous. I shot back, pouring coffee black as my mood. Or just worried about your little side gig? Her cup rattled against the saucer. What the fuck does that mean? Means I know about Elysium. And the redirects. Care to explain before I do? She recovered fast, stepping closer. Voice of venomous hiss. You think you're clever? This firm's a machine.
Eden.
Chew up girls like you and spit out bones. Walk away now, or we'll make sure you never pitch again.
Threats. Classic.
But I leaned in, voice low. Try it. See how fast the SEC gets this audio. Her face drained of color, and she stormed out, heels echoing fury. Score 1 for the ghost. Harlan called me into his office that afternoon, the sanctum sanctorum of Apex, mahogany desk the size of a small yacht, walls lined with signed photos of tech titans Zuck, Musk, the ghosts of deals past. He gestured to the leather club chair, puffing a cigar that probably cost more than my rent. Harlow.
Sit.
What's this I hear about leaks and ledgers? I didn't flinch. Time to gamble big. Controversial decision number 1. Go nuclear early. Risk the blowback. I slid a USB across the desk. Everything.
Harlan.
Marcus and Lila's embezzlement scheme. Audio proof. Transaction logs. They're bleeding the firm dry to cover personal debts. And they plan to pin it on me. He popped the drive in, the files blooming on his screen. Minutes ticked by, his face a storm cloud. When the audio hit, Marcus's voice, damning and dumb, he stubbed out the cigar, eyes like flint. Son of a bitch. How long? Months. I found it chasing the IP theft, same sloppiness. He leaned back, tenting his fingers. And you? Clean? As a whistle.
Lie?
Partial. In the old life, I'd signed off on one fuzzy expense, nothing major, but enough to muddy waters. Here, I'd scrubbed my trail clean retroactively, forging timestamps like a pro. Controversial? Hell yes. But survival's a dirty game. Harlan nodded slowly.
All right.
You lead the cleanup.
Quiet.
No cops yet. Board votes tomorrow. And I need that pitch intact. Your pitch. My heart stuttered. Trust? From him? Or just using me as the blade? And if they fight back? A grim smile. Then you fight dirtier. Welcome to the big leagues, kid. I left his office buzzing, the power shift intoxicating. But as I passed the bullpen, Marcus's desk was empty. Out sick, his calendar said. Lila's too. They knew. And they were coming for blood. That night, my loft felt like a fortress under siege. Rain hammered the roof, thunder rumbling like distant artillery. Eyed up security, new locks, a canister of pepper spray by the bed, but sleep evaded me. Ghosts of the fall whispering in the dark. What if this life ended the same? What if revenge just painted a bigger target? The buzz of my phone shattered the quiet at 2 a.m. Unknown number. We need to talk. Parking garage.
Now. M.
Against every instinct, I went. Controversial decision, too. Meet the snake on his turf. Unarmed but wired, body cam hidden under my hoodie, streaming to a cloud server. The garage was a concrete tomb, lit by flickering sodium lamps, my sneakers echoing off puddles. Marcus waited by his Tesla, Lila beside him like a shadow in black leather, her face a mask of calculated calm. Eden, he started, voice oily. This has to stop. Whatever games you're playing. No games. I cut in, stopping 10 feet away, rain dripping from my hood. Just truth. You stole my work, framed me for your mess, and killed me for it.
Yeah.
I said killed. That suicide note? Bullshit. I remember every second. They exchanged glances, confusion from him, dawning horror from her. You're crazy, Lila spat. We didn't. Save it. The audios with Harlan. SEC's next if you don't resign by morning. Clean slates. Or your empires crumble. Marcus stepped forward, hands up like surrender, but his eyes burned.
Edie.
Listen. It wasn't personal.
The debts.
They were drowning me. Lila covered for me because she loves me. Okay? We were gonna cut you in. After the pitch. Big equity.
Love.
The word twisted like a knife. In the old life, I'd glimpsed it, their stolen glances, the late meetings. I'd been the dupe, the third wheel in their grift. Cut me in? After shoving me out the window? Fuck your equity. Lila laughed.
Brittle.
Window? Dramatic much? If you're so sure, why not go public now?
Oh.
Right, your little forgeries in the expenses. Harlan digs deep. You're done too.
Check.
She'd sniffed my digital sleight of hand. My bluff called. Pulse racing. Then we all burn. Resign. Or I hit send.
Markus lunget fast.
Farrell grabbing my arm, slamming me against the concrete pillar. Pain bloomed in my shoulder, but the cam rolled, capturing every bruise. You think you're smart, he snarled, face inches from mine. I made you.
Eden.
Without me, you're nothing. Lila hovered. Phone out filming? Blackmail? Let her go. Marcus. We can fix this. But he didn't. His grip tightened, free hand drawing back, fist cocked. Time slowed, the fall flashing before me again.
No.
Not this time. I need him hard. Right in the groin. Ancient self-defense class paying off. He doubled over.
Gasping.
And I twisted free, elbow cracking his jaw for good measure. Lila charged, nails raking my cheek, but I shoved her back into a puddle, slipping on the wet floor. We tumbled her on top, Me scrambling for leverage until security lights flared. A guard's voice booming. Hey, break it up. They bolted. Marcus dragging Lila to the Tesla, tires screeching into the night. I sat there, soaked and shaking, blood trickling from my lip. The cam had it all. Assault, confession, flight, evidence goldmine. By morning, Apex was a war zone. Harlan's email blast hit at 7 a.m., emergency board meeting. Hale and Voss suspended pending investigation. The office thrummed with whispers, loyalists shocked, opportunists circling like sharks. I arrived to cheers from the analysts I'd mentored, backslaps from execs who'd ignored me before. Power's a hell of a drug. But victory tasted hollow. As I prepped for the pitch, now mine alone, untainted, doubt crept in. The forgeries, if exposed, I'd be no better than them. Controversial to the core, had I become the monster to slay the monsters? The boardroom filled at noon. Harlan at the head, his face a thunderhead. No Marcus. No Lila, just me, the slides, and a room full of suits hungry for blood money. Harlow, he grunted. Floor's yours. Make it count. I stood, heart a war drum. The deck flowed. Metrics, visions, the American dream of rags to reinvention. Questions flew, tough, probing, but I parried, weaving data like spells. Halfway through, my phone vibrated. Text from unknown. You win this round. But check your email.
Elle.
I ignored it.
Powering on.
Applause at the end. Harlan's nod the seal. Funded. 10 mil seed. Congrats. Partner.
Partner.
The word echoed as I exited. High fives raining down. But in the elevator, alone, I opened the email. Attachment. Scans of my forged receipts. Time-stamped. Annotated. Your secret safe.
For now.
Want to keep it that way? Meet me. Tonight. The penthouse.
M.
The penthouse. Blackwood Tower. Where it ended before. My stomach dropped. The reset's cruel joke slamming home. They weren't done. The snake had fangs yet. Night fell like a guillotine. The city glittering below as I ascended to the 40th floor. No elevator plummet this time. I'd taken the stairs, pulse pounding with each step, pepper spray in my clutch. Harlan looped in via text, just in case. The penthouse doors swung open to opulence, marble floors, skyline views, a bottle of Dom chilling on ice. Marcus waited, tuxedo sharp, Lila in a sheath dress that screamed last-ditch seduction. No weapons visible, but the air crackled with trap. Eden, he purred, pouring flutes. To new beginnings. I stayed by the door, hand in bag. Cut the shit. What's the play? Blackmail? Lila smirked, swirling her glass. Smart girl. Your forgery's sloppy. We fix Harlan's mess. You bury yours. Equity split, 40 us.
60 you. Partners.
For real.
Tempting.
Clean hands, fat checks, the dream intact. But the twist hit like lightning. Her eyes flicked to the balcony doors. Rain lashed and unlocked. Marcus's hand twitched toward his pocket phone. Recorder? Or worse? No, I said, voice steel.
Resign.
Full stop. Or this. I held up my phone. Live streaming to a lawyer friend. Goes viral.
A svart-vid.
Confessions. Your Vegas ties. All of it. Marcus's face darkened, the charm evaporating. You ungrateful bitch. I gave you everything. You took it, I shot back. My code. My trust. My life. This ends now. Lila moved first, subtle, toward the champagne. But I saw the slight, vial slipping from her sleeve. Something clear and lethal into the flute. Poison? Roofies? The old playbook. Refined. Controversial decision 3. The nuclear option. I lunged. Not for her, but the doors, flinging them open to the storm. Wind howling in. SEC's downstairs. Marcus. Harlan called them. Game over.
Lie.
But it landed. He whirled. Panic real. What? No. Yes. I backed toward the hall. Phone raised. Run. Or rot. Lila hurled the tainted glass. Wild. Desperate. It shattered at my feet, fizzing ominously. Marcus charged, but tripped on the rug, crashing down as sirens wailed below. Real ones. Harlan's cavalry. Cops burst in minutes later, cuffs clicking like karma. Interrogations blurred, denials, tears from Lila. It was all him. Marcus's bluster crumbling under the audio avalanche. My forgeries? Harlan buried them. Loyalty's a two-way street, he grunted later. Over cigars. The feds bought the frame job reversal. I walked clean. ConnectSphere funded. Apex purged. Months later, as I stood on a new stage, TechCrunch disrupt. Keynote slot mine. The twist unfurled. A reporter cornered me post-talk. Eden. Rumors say you doctored evidence to take down Hale and Voss. Willing to comment. Heart iced. Who leaked? Lila. From her cell? Or Harlan? Testing? I smiled for the cameras. Rumors are the death of truth. But justice? It always finds its way. Off stage. Alone. The fall's echo lingered. Revenge won. But at what cost? The line between avenger and villain blurred. A razor I walked daily. Happy ending? For the world. Maybe. For me, a ghost in victory's skin, it's just the start of watching my back. The spotlight's glare faded as I slipped into the green room. The roar of the crowd a muffled thunder behind the door. Disrupt was my coronation. ConnectSphere's beta launch announced to a standing ovation. Investors lining up like pilgrims at a gold rush. But that reporter's barb clung like smoke. Doctored evidence. It wasn't rumor, it was a grenade. Pin half pulled. Who the hell had my number? My phone buzzed. Harlan.
Good show.
Drinks? Blackwood Lounge.
Now.
The lounge was Apex's off-campus haunt, a velvet-roped den in the financial district where deals were sealed over 25-year scotch and NDAs. I arrived to Harlan holding court in a corner booth, his bulk dwarfing the tufted seats, a fresh cigar smoldering. No board suits tonight, just him. And a shadow in the dim light, a woman, mid-40s, sharp bob and sharper eyes. Nursing a martini. Eden, Harlan boomed, waving me over. Meet Victoria Hale. Marcus's sister. My gut twisted. The family card, unexpected. Victoria extended a hand, grip firm, rings glinting like accusations. I've heard. Everything. Buy you a drink. We ordered, mine soda water. Hers another gin, and the dance began. Harlan excused himself for a call, leaving us to the wolves. Marcus is rotting in county, she said flatly. Olive eyes pinning me. 15 counts. Wire fraud. Assault. Conspiracy. Lila flipped like a bad pancake, testified he masterminded the push.
But you.
You're the wild card. I sipped. Casual. Wild card? I was the victim. She leaned in. Voice a conspirator's whisper. Were you? My brother's a prick. No denying. But those forgeries, expense reports backdated to last quarter. I have copies.
From A.
Mutual friend in accounting. The air thinned. Lila?
No.
She'd sung sweeter lies for leniency. Harlan? Testing loyalty again. Or this woman? Digging for leverage. And I countered. Pulse steady. You here to avenge. Or audit. A laugh. Low and wry. Neither. Opportunity. Marcus's stake in Apex, frozen. But mine by proxy. I want an on ConnectSphere. 20%. Silent partner. In exchange, the files disappear. Blackmail with a bow. Controversial crossroads. Take the deal. Taint my empire with hail blood. Or burn it down. The old me would have bolted.
New me?
Saw the angle. Her network was old money. East Coast connections that could rocket us global. But trust? A fool's game. 10%. I bargained. Eyes locked. And you deliver Marcus's full confession. On the assault. Video. If you've got it. Her smile was a blade.
Deal.
But one more thing. Why'd you meet them that night? Penthouse. Risky.
Truth time. Or half.
To end it clean. No more bodies. She nodded. Like she bought it. Harlan returned then. Clapping shoulders. Toasting to fresh starts. But as we clinked, Victoria's gaze lingered, calculating. The twist deepened. She wasn't just family. She was the hidden string. The one who'd bailed Marcus out before. Funding Elysium from her trust fund. Betrayal's web. Spun wider than I'd dreamed. Weeks blurred into a frenzy. Beta tests exploding. Users hooked on ConnectSphere's promise of trust algorithms that flagged toxic dynamics before they festered. Ironic. Given my life. PR spun the Apex scandal as corporate purification, me the whistleblower heroine. Forbes called. TEDx beckoned. Power surged, but so did the shadows. It started small, anonymous emails you pushed first. Eden. We have proof. Attached, grainy stills from the garage fight. Me on top of Lila. Elbow raised. Doctored? Maybe. But viral potential loomed. Then, a hacker breach. ConnectSphere servers pinged. Code snippets leaked to GitHub. My baby. Gutted online. Harlan called a war council in his office. Maps of digital footprints spread like battle plans. Russian IPs. Botnets. Classic smear. Who's footing the bill?
Victoria.
I thought, but said nothing. Instead, I dove in, tracing breadcrumbs through VPNs and dark web forums. The trail looped back, not Russia, but a VPN in Jersey, tied to a shell, Hale Enterprises. Sis was playing hardball. Confrontation brewed. I invited her to my loft, neutral ground. My rules. Rain again. A San Francisco staple. Drumming against the windows as she arrived. Burberry trench dripping.
Eden.
Cozy. Cut the foreplay, I said, pouring wine she ignored. I tossed my tablet across the coffee table. Screenshots. logs, the works. Your hack job's amateur hour. Call it off. Or I loop the feds on your proxy funding. She didn't flinch, shedding her coat to reveal a sheath of silk that screamed money.
Touché.
But consider, Marcus confessed everything, except your role. He says you provoked the fight, faked the audio. And those stills, real enough to tank your IPO. Stalemate. Her eyes softened, almost maternal. Look,
Kid.
family's a bitch. He was drowning, debts from dad's mess, mom's cancer bills. I bailed him once. Elysium was my idea. Clean it up or burn.
But you.
You're like him. Ambitious. Ruthless. Join me. We merge. Hail capital for Harlow Vision. Rule the valley. The offer hung. Seductive. Controversial as hell. Ally with the serpent's kin. Or sever the head. Memories flooded. The fall. The reset.
The vow.
No more puppets. No, I said. Voice iron. Resign your stake. Walk away. Or the leaks become floods. Her laugh chilled. You think you can scare me? I buried worse than this. She stood, grabbing her coat. Last chance.
Eden.
Blood's thicker than code. The door clicked shut, leaving echoes. I didn't sleep that night. Fortifying servers. Lawyering up. But dawn brought the gut punch. News alert. Apex whistleblower sues for defamation. Hale family alleges frame job. Victoria's countermove. Filed in Manhattan. Naming me as co-conspirator. Shares dipped. Users churned. The empire wobbled. Harlan was livid, pacing his office like a caged bear. What the fuck? Harlow, you said it was clean. It was elite? Half. The forgeries his blind eye now a noose. Victoria's bluffing. We countersue. He stopped, eyes narrowing. Or we settle. Quiet. Her money's clean, than ours. Betrayal. Round 2. Harlan, the grizzled patriarch, folding for filthy lucre. No, I snapped. We fight. His laugh was bitter. Kid, this ain't a pitch.
It's war.
And wars get dirty. He lit another cigar, smoke curling like ultimatums. Your call. But lose this, and you're out. The gauntlet thrown. I stormed out, mind racing. Controversial decision 4. Go rogue. No Harlan. No board, just me. Hiring a PI on retainer. Digging into Victoria's empire. Turns out, blood wasn't just thick, it was toxic. Her trust fund, built on insider trades. Hush settlements from Dad's Wall Street scams. Marcus was the symptom, she was the disease. The PI delivered gold a week later. Emails, wire transfers, a recorded call where Victoria coached Marcus on the frame. Pin it on the girl. She's got no roots. And the kicker, she'd known about the penthouse meet, urged him to handle it permanent. Armed, I flew to New York, her turf, my ambush. The Hale penthouse was a fortress of glass and steel. Hudson views, mocking my jet-lagged resolve. Security waved me up a mess. Hale's expecting you. Trap or arrogance? She greeted me in a cashmere sweater. Tea service steaming.
Eden.
Bold. Coming here. Ending this, I said, dropping the dossier on her marble island. Your crimes? On paper. Resign all stakes.
Or it goes public.
Tomorrow's headline: Hail Heiress, the real apex thief. Her face cracked, just a hair, but fury followed. You little shit. You think you can touch me? My lawyers. Already filed. I bluffed. Phone in hand. And the call recording? With Marcus? Handle it permanent. That's accessory to murder. Vicky. She paled, sinking onto a stool. The mask shattered. Tears. Real ones. He was my baby brother. Dad's shadow broke him. Beat the ambition out till it twisted. I fixed it. Over and over. Elysium. It was supposed to save him. Pity flickered. Unwelcome. Save him by killing me? I didn't know, she sobbed. He called after. Hysterical, she's gone. Vicky. Fell. I covered. Thoughts suicide stuck.
God.
What have we done? The twist uncoiled. Not malice, but enabling rot. A family devouring itself. Me the collateral. Controversial mercy? Or weakness? Resign. I repeated.
Softer.
Get him help. Therapy. Not alibis. And go. She nodded.
Broken.
The files. Your forgeries. I'll bury them. For real. I left her there. City lights winking like conspirators. Back in SF. The countersuit crumbled. Victoria's withdrawal. A quiet donation to Apex's ethics fund. Harlan grumbled but promoted me. Chief Innovation Officer. Connect Sphere soared. Users hitting millions. The app ironically mending more bridges than it broke. But nights. Alone. The reset haunted. Was I healed? Or just a better monster? The fall's scar ached. A reminder. Revenge isn't closure. It's chains you forge yourself. Sunrise painted the bay in golds and pinks. A postcard lie over the grind that never slept. 6 months post-disrupt. And Connect Sphere was the Valley's darling. Partnerships with Fortune 500s. My face on billboards from Palo Alto to Park Avenue. Eden Harlow. Phoenix from the ashes. Or so the profile spun. But in the quiet of my new corner office, glass walls, Eames chair, a view that screamed, I made it, the ghosts gathered. Victoria's burial, of the forgeries held. But trust? Shattered like that champagne flute. It started with a whisper. An analyst. Fresh-faced kid named Theo. Cornering me at the water cooler. Eden.
Ah.
Weird ping on the trust algo. Flagging internal chats, Harlan's emails to offshore accounts. Like, Elysium level weird. My blood ran cold. Harlan, the old lion. Dipping into the same honey pot? I waved it off, run diagnostics, but dove in after hours. Code crawling like veins under skin. There. Transfers. Masked as consulting fees to a new shell, Phoenix Rising LLC.
Cute.
Harlan's middle finger. Or desperation. Apex's margins still bled from the scandal. He'd clawed back control. But at what cost? Confrontation loomed. But first, insurance. I mirrored the logs to my private vault, then called Victoria, our truce line, a burner for uneasy peace. Your brother's rot spread further than you thought, I said. No preamble. Harlan's picking up the slack. Silence. Then a sigh. Told you it's a disease. Marcus is. Changing. Therapy's working. But Harlan? Cut him loose. For your sake. Her concern rang true. A fragile thread. And you? Staying clean? Cleaner than sin. Darling. Steak's gone, I'm out.
Click.
Harlan's office that afternoon was a cigar haze, his desk buried under deal memos. Harlow, what's cooking? I didn't sit. Phoenix rising. Explain. His jowls sagged. Cigar pausing mid-puff. Business.
Kid.
Bridge loans temporary. You worry too much. Embezzlement's not worry, it's prison. I slid the printouts across. Resign. Harlan. Before I call the dogs again. He barked a laugh, but his eyes wary. Wounded. After all I did, gave you the firm, the shot. This is betrayal. Eden. Like yours? The words hung. The cycle laid bare. He'd mentored Marcus. Turned blind eyes for cuts of the pie.
Now me.
The daughter he'd elevated, drawing the line. Controversial to the bone. Topple the king. Orphan the kingdom? He leaned back. Deflating.
All right.
Partial retirement. You take CEO. But the accounts. They're for Apex. Legacy. Lie, I said, but softer. Pity again. Unwelcome. Harlan. The Titan. Reduced to scavenging scraps. Clean it, or I expose. He nodded.
Slow.
You win.
Kid.
But remember, thrones are cold. The board voted that week, me at the helm. Harlan consulting from a yacht in the Mediterranean. Cheers. Champagne toasts. But the weight settled. CEO Eden. Guardian of ghosts. Connect Sphere evolved. New features flagging betrayal patterns. AI therapy bots for corporate trauma.
Cathartic?
Or confession. The real twist hit at the annual gala. Black tie affair in the Palace of Fine Arts. Marble halls echoing with clinking glasses and cutthroat schmoozes. I arrived in emerald silk, power color, arm in arm with Theo. My unlikely +1. His awkward charm a bomb. Victoria was there, cornered by reporters. Her smile brittle as spun glass. Eden, she called, weaving through the crowd. No venom tonight, just weariness.
Marcus sends. Regards.
He's out on bail. Sober. Wants to apologize. Apologize. The words soured the air. Pass. But she pressed an envelope into my hand. Cream stock.
Sealed.
Read it. Then decide. I slipped away to a balcony. Lagoon lights dancing below. The envelope heavy as regret. Inside, Marcus's scrawl. Shaky but sincere.
Edie.
I don't expect forgiveness. The fall. I see it in dreams. Your eyes accusing. I was lost debts. Dad's ghost. Lila's lies whispering I deserved it all. But you? Innocent. The push wasn't planned. Panic.
Pure.
I regret every second. Victoria told me about the reset, your second chance. Sounds crazy, but I believe it. Like karma's loop. I'm getting help. Building clean, a coding boot camp for ex-cons. If there's justice, let me earn it.
Nostrines.
Marcus. Tears pricked rage, relief, the impossible, understanding. He'd glimpsed my truth. Through her, or delusion's gift. I folded it away, heart fracturing. Back inside. Harlan cornered me, tanned, scotch loose. Heard about the letter. Softening. Harlow. Fuck off, I muttered. But he chuckled, clapping my shoulder. Kid. Revenge is a bitch. But living better? That's the kill shot. The night wound down in blurs. Dances with Theo. Deals sealed in alcoves. Victoria's quiet toast to survivors. As dawn crept, I stood on the marina. Wind off the water carrying salt and second guesses. The reset hadn't erased scars, it had etched them deeper. A map of choices. Mercy over malice. Alliance over annihilation. Connect Sphere hit unicorn status that summer, billion-dollar valuation. Me on the cover of Wired, the woman who coded trust. But success's shadow lingered. Therapy sessions unpacking the fall. Nights where the elevator dream jerked me awake. Sweating. Happy ending? Tragic in its incompleteness.
Idea bin siya.
Ascended. But the betrayal's echo taught the cruelest truth. No one's the villain in their own story. We're all just falling, reaching for the next ledge. And me, I'd learned to fly.